2. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, Facebook family. This is J.D.Wright from DanaClarkColors.com. And today we are so excited because we have a guest on here, Miss Sherrita Berry-Pettus, who's I've known for a few years now, just a few years. Hello, Sherrita.
Hello, ever since 2016.
Yes. Yes, it's been that long. But when we first met, you guys, I met Sherrita at a book fair. It was a book fair when we were just, we were peddling our books and stuff. And Sherrita, you had you was out there with your husband, right?
Yes. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. We were out there selling our books to whoever came. We were like, please, people, come to this book fair. Remember?
That was my first book event ever. So I was a new author at that time.
Wow. 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 Well, Sherrita, I have you on here tonight because I want to talk about your books. Because ever since then, your books, you have been building your business and your books, and everything has been growing since then. And I know for sure that now when you go, well, other than COVID, but now when you go to those events, you know how to work it now, don't you?
Oh, you know it.
Oh my gosh. Sharita, do you have any of your books with you? Can you share with us a few
Of
of your books so
course.
we can know which
Of course.
ones we're looking for?
So um, my first two books, which I had at that event, was Rock On with Your Afro Puffs. Rock On with Your Afro Puffs.
Mm-hmm.
And then my second book was
Yes.
Smile Bright Chocolate Prince. And that was a big seller at that event. And then
Yes.
my third book was I'm Brown and I'm Smart, which is actually currently my bestseller on Amazon and worldwide. This book is everywhere, and I'm thankful for this book because I want our babies to know that they can be brown and smart too. Okay, so I'm brown and I'm smart, and then I'm brown and I'm pretty, which is my personal favorite because I
Mm-hmm.
my younger self is in the book. And then I went and branched off to educational skills. So I have the Marvelous World of Shapes. This is actually my favorite with the illustrations because Mr.
Yeah.
James Thomas, he's a
Mm-hmm.
fabulous illustrator. Okay, and we were able to
Yes.
help teach these babies their shapes in
You
different
guys,
ways.
I love that book. I know that illustrator. He is amazing. And you know what,
He,
Sharita? I have got to tell everybody just a little bit more about your background. So I just want to tell everybody who exactly you are because I wanted to show those books because I really loved the illustrations in those books. But I'm sure you guys recognize the books. Now you can recognize the author. Mrs. Sherrita Berry-Pettus is a mom, an educator, an author. She is also a graduate of University of Maryland College Park, where she
go
earned her
bird.
master's, right?
Yes, I have 3 degrees from there.
Oh, which ones you have? You have the master's in urban, and what
Urban
else?
minority education. So I have a master's in urban and minority education, and I have a bachelor of science in early human development slash early childhood education, and I also have a bachelor of science in family science.
Oh my gosh. Now, let me ask you, Sharita. I'm very sure, though, I'm sure that your books reflect the education that you received, like that higher education that you received. Can you tell us how you entwined your education into these books?
Oh my goodness, that is an excellent question, and no one has ever asked me that question. So I remember being an undergrad at the University of Maryland taking a children's literatures course, and they would talk about how it was important for minority students to see themselves in books. And right when I was a young, college college student, I was like, so why don't we see more books for children of color? And I never knew at that time that I would be an author or be an agent to change that. But I remember questioning. So they know this, and it seemed like they're doing it on purpose. So you're telling me it's important for our children to see themselves in the textbooks that they read and learn from in school, and that they see
Mhm.
themselves around in their classrooms and environment in a positive way. But I didn't see that back then. So I have been out of college for a few years, but things are changing, but not fast enough. So,
Mhm.
and I learned about the importance of seeing a solid family, which children, depending on where they grew up in their environment, they may or may not see that. So it was important for me to also put that in my books.
I see. I see. Now, what inspired you to become an author? Just period. Like what? I mean, we all know that there's a cause and there needs to be representation, and but there's many ways to do that. And you decided to choose the platform, the media, the field of publications. What was it about being an author that you thought would make a much better impact?
And it's so funny because as a teacher, I will write little poems or messages for my students to help, cheer
Hmm.
us up, or it'll be our mantra for the school year. And
Hmm.
I figured, if I wrote something and
Because you guys,
explained it.
Sharita is a teacher, okay? She is
Hmm.
an educator. So
Hmm.
she is like in it. She's in it. I'm sorry, I
13
just had to
years
throw in
strong.
that.
It's okay. 13
13
years
years.
strong. So I am a kindergarten teacher. I love the babies. The big kids kind of scare me, but I love the younger kids. And so you can also see that in my books, because my books are really designed for birth to like second grade.
Oh.
So as well, Rock On with Your Afro Plus, the main reason why I started writing was a situation in my classroom where another little girl was making fun of a little girl because of her hair. And I was like, no, this is not going to happen in my classroom on my watch. So that night I went home and wrote Rock On with Your Afro Plus in one night. And it was a message that we read together, me and this little girl, every day. So I read it with my whole class a few times just to let them know that all types of hair, all textures of hair, they're perfect exactly the way they are. And I made this book and I published, and I started doing research by myself. I didn't have any help or anything. It was me and good old Google back then. I was like, how to publish a book, and I put in the work. And then when I gave this little girl this book at the end of the year, she was so happy. And so she was the inspiration for my book, because I don't
Wow.
personally, I only have three boys. I don't have any girls.
Oh, wow. You have three sons. And is that what
Three sons.
propelled you into doing the books about the boys next?
Oh, I had to, because my boys would not let me. They were like, Mom, especially. So I wrote Smile Break Chocolate Prince, because I don't know. After I wrote Rock On Your Afro Plus, I every night I was writing something. So then I wrote Smile Bright Chocolate Prince, and then I wrote I'm Brown and I'm Pretty. And my mom was like, I mean, my boys were making fun of me. They was like, Mom, you have two books for girls and one books for boys. So I was like, okay, so let me make more books for boys. So being a boy mom, it's important for me to make sure that boys also have a positive representation or books for them as well.
Tell us about your parenting approach, because as a teacher, I don't know, it's like an innate feeling of almost being a parent to all of those children. Now, when you come
Mm-hmm.
home, you have your own inner curriculum for your own kids, right? So could you tell us
Mm-hmm.
about your parenting approach with your children? Because I know as African American kids, we're all raised initially on the survival techniques and approach, on how to get by. How are you raising your children? What's your approach?
Okay, so I honestly could say it was about, I guess, about 6 years ago, when I only had two sons at the time. Um, and I told myself, I said, I can't give my all to everybody else's children and come home and not give my all to my babies. So then I had made the commitment that no matter what, I'll tough it out and give them the same, you know, pep in my step that I would give, the kids in my classroom. The good thing about I'm always silly, so I love children. So I'm that cool
Mhm.
mom where everybody likes to come out over and hang out. But most importantly, I teach my boys that they're perfect the way that they are, and that their words have power. I always say, don't say that.
Mhm.
Do you want that to happen? So yeah, I teach them the power of words, the positive speaking,
Yes.
positive to yourself. But
Mhm.
honestly, I have to say, you can do all these things, but sometimes they don't listen. And I'm just being honest, because as a mother, it's always one would get this message and tell you, no, that's not right. It will tell the other one, or check the other one, but it's always one in every
Mhm.
bunch. And I want to tell parents, just take it one day at a time, because parenting is very hard, and there's no real manual that can help you get through that. But this, I would say,
Mm-mm.
lead with love, and the rest will follow. But what's best is always to have a structural environment. Make sure they go to bed on time. That's important, because you don't want to be fighting with them to get up. You don't want to start your day off like that. So it's just,
Um,
try to have some schedule for them, but also lead with love. And I feel like,
yeah.
your children will remember how you made them feel way longer than whatever gadget or something that you brought them. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Sharita, that is so true. I'm so glad you said that, especially about the part where your words are power. I tell my daughter that all the time. She has to understand that the intentions you set out can come through your speech, through your talk.
mhm.
And I truly believe that that is something that they have really, really should incorporate into the school systems, about how people need to speak their lives into existence more,
Yeah,
and to just it totally works. It is just a way of life. It's universal, and I'm a firm believer in that. And if you talk to April, my daughter, Sharita, she'll tell you. She tells me, she's like, Mommy, do you want that to happen? Then why would you say that? Don't say that, Mommy. Don't say
exactly.
that.
Go
And
April.
I know. And then I'm like, okay, I got to bring it back, So it's
Hmm.
extremely important. And I think our generation, for real, Sharita, has one up on what we had. I think we're doing great with that. Let me ask you this. Could you tell us a little bit more? Because I just want to get back to your books for a minute. Tell us a little bit more about your illustrators. Because how many illustrators did you use? I recognize one. I recognize James.
Okay. So I have James, but also I've worked with Joanne Imus. She's done four of my books. This is my girl. Like all of my illustrators are African American.
Mm-hmm.
Or I make sure I choose illustrators of color.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to me that I'm also putting back into my community, because that's important for me.
Yeah.
And you can check her out on Instagram, or Facebook. And what I love about her medium, she used pencils, so she drew each image with a pencil and was able to color them in with special pencils. And like now, I know she's doing digital art, and she has involved like you could tell the difference, because she also did my newer book from last year or the year before, Magical Words for Young Scholars, and you can tell
Oh,
the difference
wow.
in illustrations. Like so now I think she's doing digital as well as pencil. But my very first illustrator um is Miss Nikki Creative. She's a painter, and she painted. I have the paintings of these illustrations. She hand painted each illustration, which was so cool. And then she was able to help transfer them digitally. So
Oh,
so
wow.
when I go to schools and visit schools, I tell them about, if you like to draw, or if you like to doodle with pencils, you could be an illustrator. Whatever medium
Mhm.
you choose, if you like to use your iPad and draw on your iPad, that's digital art. And if you like to use paint, you could use that format. So I've worked with
Mhm.
several different illustrators, and with Pay Numbers, I really love this book. This book has my teacher heart, because it goes into the concepts building numbers of 1 through 10, and it also helps teaching
Yeah.
students how to compose and decompose numbers. So, children, because children not only need to know the number and know how to count, they
Mhm.
have to be able to see and identify numbers in different ways, in pictures, formats, tally marks. And I tell people all the time, the school is not your child's first teacher. You are. So might as well get
Mhm.
started when you can. So
Wow. I love those. I love all of those. The most recent one that you said came out last year, I don't have that one. I gotta get that one. It was called Magical what? Show that one again.
okay, the magical words for young scholars. Okay, and this one
Yeah.
actually, it was a message that I wrote to my class when I my first year at Roscoe Nix Elementary School,
Mhm.
and we read that message every day. And I tell you, them kids scored the highest that I've seen in years. And they performed better because we know we
Mhm.
were starting our day off on track, and that we were claiming an awesome day. And every day we claim an awesome day, and I let them know sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But what matters is that we tried and we put it out there.
Mhm. Yeah, you put your intentions out there. I hear that.
Mhm.
I gotta tell you, Sherrita, as I'm talking to you, I'm remembering like the first time that we met, and we weren't the only authors there. There were other authors there, and we weren't. We there were different kinds of authors there, and I remember. You know, what I'm about to talk about, right? The guy who came out with that book, and it was called Children of the World. It was called Children of the World, and when it was by a white guy, Anglo-Saxon, a white guy. And when he showed it to me, he wanted to exchange books because for you guys who don't know, sometimes as authors, sometimes instead of buying each other's book, we would exchange books. And he came to my table and he wanted to exchange his book with me. And I thought to myself, okay, let me see what kind of book he has. When he told me the title first. And when I looked at the cover of that book, Sherrita, it was called Children of the World. And it was a planet with children all around the planet holding hands. There was not one black, brown, or person of color on that map of the world. And all that showed me was that was his perception, of the children of the world, that none of them were brown, none of them were black or African American or have any African descent. And I was just, at first I didn't notice, but you pointed it out to me, Sherrita. You said, look at this. There's no black people on this Children of the World. There are no black children here. And I was like, wow. I was like, wow, this is crazy. I still have that book. I don't know what to do with it, but it reminds me. It reminds me of why we do what we do.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
Mhm. Now, let me ask you this. Do you have any up and coming projects? Anything that we can look forward to coming from you, Sharita?
I actually have a lot in the making. 2020, I was kind of quiet. I would say I was in my developing and planning stages. So 2020 was off to a great start. I started building confident scholars through literacy publishing. So I launched my official publishing company last year. And I started making composition books for children because I feel like it's our babies need to see themselves everywhere. So I took some of my illustrations, and so this one is one where they can doodle and write. So it's primary composition paper with the box. I created all these things myself. I said I didn't want no template. As an educator, I spent hours making sure that the line sizes were perfect for early learners. I also have another primary journal, but it's this way. When your child is in kindergarten or first grade, a lot of times the teacher will ask for you to buy a primary journal, so it have the picture space and lines at the bottom. And also, I kicked off. I created Working Mommy Joys and Blues journal, because I felt like you asked me how I was as a parent, okay? And I told you I had to check myself about 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
always tell people reflect on their careers, people reflect on their life, but they don't reflect too much about being a parent. And this is why this journal is essential for young moms, new
Mm.
moms, old moms, all moms. I use this journal. It's the same questions every week. I have them separated. So 1 month, every 4 weeks, the border would change to help you keep up with where you are in your journal. And you could just write like, what did you do well? Like I said, what brought you joy as a mom, and what gave you the blues, and how can you work
Mm.
on that? Because I feel like
Mm.
it's important as a mother. If you reflect on everything else, you need to reflect as being a mom too. This is
Mm.
important. So
Get it, Sherrita. Get it, girl. Yes. Those, let me tell you, girl, I gotta compose myself because all of that stuff you just said, I am so on board with all of it. Okay, the journaling, the reflecting, the posed questions. Okay, I'm all over that. Like I love that stuff. It helps you to get focused. It helps you to remember who you are. And if you can remember who you are, then
mhm,
you can walk, you can talk, and you can move in purpose. And you will constantly be
mhm,
moving in the right direction of the type of life that is meant for you, the life that you
mhm,
deserve, a life that is worthy of the person who you truly are. And those
mhm.
are the kind of tools that we need as parents, all parents, not just African American people, all parents need that kind of tool.
And I also have one for daddies coming out within the next month. So I'm all finished. I just have to finalize the internal pages because it's good for moms
Mm,
and it's good for dads. And what I put on the back of the book is what really rings to me, resonates with me. It's like, in life we all can gain from engaging in some type of reflection. At work we reflect to increase productivity and to improve. What makes reflecting upon motherhood any different? Reflecting enables you to give your children the best version of you. I
mm,
know being a working mom could be tough at times, but we have to remember that our children are our legacy. So
mm.
reflect, enjoy, write, grow, and keep pushing. You got this, okay? So
Oh
that's
my gosh. You got this. You got this, Sharita. Girl, tell me, where can we find all of these magnificent products? How many products do you have so far?
Oh my goodness, I'm losing count. I know I have 7 children's books. I have 4
Mhm.
coloring books. My coloring books, Brown and I'm Smart is one of my best-selling coloring books. I also have a coloring book, Rockin' with Your Afro Puffs, and I have I'm Brown and I'm Pretty. And the Magical Words from Young Scholars also has a coloring book. So I have 4 coloring books, 7 children's books, with 2 more coming this year. Look out. Um,
Girl.
1 published journal, 2 more coming within the next 2 months. And
Mhm.
I have some composition books. So I'm rolling. I'm rolling.
You are rolling, Sharita. That is what I'm talking about. I have been telling people I'm an advocate for, I'm the coloring book lady. I love the coloring books. And I tell everybody, if you have a children's book, you should have
Mm-hmm.
a
A color.
corresponding coloring book. You should have it. There is no reason why
Mm-hmm.
you should not have a coloring book to go alongside with your literature. I mean, it should be. Now tell us, Sharita, where can we find your children's books and all of the rest of your products?
Okay, so you can find my children's books, books by Mrs.Berry-Pettus.com. You should check it out on the
Mhm.
screen. And my website is a one-stop shop. If you want to buy from me, you can get it there. I autograph all the books from my website. But look, I understand people don't want to pay for shipping.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong, I'm that way too. So I have an Amazon link. So you just click, if you want to buy it on Amazon, go to my website and buy it through Amazon. It helps me because I still get a percentage, a little cut for
Mhm.
even when you click from my Amazon link.
That's
So
right.
and you go straight. I take you right to the books. You click on the picture, it takes you right to the book on Amazon. If you got Prime, free
Mm-hmm.
shipping. I also have on Amazon, an Amazon store, buildingconfidencescholars.com, and that's where you can get all of my composition books and journals.
All right, Sherrita, that is what's up. So you guys, when you go to buy Sherrita's books, I hope you guys listen carefully. If you want to buy it from Amazon, that's fine. Go to her website and buy it from Amazon. And also,
Yeah.
guys, when you buy it from Amazon, after you get it, you have got to leave a wonderful, magnificent review. The best way you can support our people is to give a review and to share it. Share this video, share her books, share her website, share the goodness. Okay, guys? Share it. People need to know.
And
And Sherrita
and
deserves all the stars.
oh, thank you. And please follow me on social media. I'm Mrs.Berry-Pettus on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I don't tweet a lot. Don't get me wrong. I'm a little old, so I'm trying to get to Twitter. But I am getting better with Instagram and Facebook. I'm on Facebook all the time. So, go ahead and like or follow me or do whatever you do.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sherrita, I talk to many, many authors. And at the end of every interview, I have a great question that I really am so interested in. And I'm going to ask you this question. It's the same question I ask everybody at the end of the interview. That is, if there was a guarantee that 3 pieces of your advice would be carried on through the generations ahead, your children, your children's children, and so on, and all of them would practice that advice habitually, okay? What would the 3 pieces of advice be? What would you give?
Okay. So, tying into the power of positive thinking, because that's just me. I rather stay
Mm-hmm.
positive. So you're controlling your mind and your thoughts, because once you have a handle of your mind and your thoughts, then you have a handle on your life. So I would say the connecting with the positive thoughts and making sure you have a positive mental space, and then once you
Mm-hmm.
have that positive mental space, to write it down. Because you could think good thoughts all you want. Or you could have a plan, but if you don't write it down, you're not gonna get anywhere. So the power
Mm-mm.
of writing things down, having a plan, and also just that you're perfect the way you are. God made you the way, or the Most High, whatever you believe, made you the way that you were intended to be made. And don't think you're not meant to be like anybody else. You're meant to be you. And just you know embrace you, accept you, and love you. That's all I want people to do. And really, with my books, I hope that enough children will have my books as
Mm-hmm.
kids, where they will not grow up to be broken adults. So building silent children, so we don't have to mend or repair ourselves as adults. So, is that
Yes,
good?
yes, totally. That sounds like my fire alarm. That's
Oh,
my
okay.
I'm sorry, they got it.
Okay.
That's my I have other adults in the house. They're working it out. They're working out. We're a full house. But let me tell you, I love all of that advice. I totally agree with all of that advice. Especially the last part. You are perfect. You are wonderful with who you are. You have to understand that self-love and you are worthy. I keep
Mhm.
saying, I say this over and over again. It's extremely important that our children understand and realize and reflect how worthy they
Yes.
are.
Yes. Yes.
That
Yes.
is extremely important to me. Like, I love that so much. But I have to tell you, Sherrita, I am excited. I am ready to buy all of your books. I don't have babies anymore, so I'm going to have to use them as gifts. But I'm excited about all of your books, and I am truly excited that you continue. Let me tell you guys, there are so many people who get in this game get in this game of being a publisher, self-publisher, and an author, and they stop way too soon. They either they give up or they just stop way too soon when there's so much more to explore and there's so much more to give and there are so many more people who have yet to discover the wonderful things that you have created. So if you're an author out there and if you're doing this, do not stop, do not give up, because we need you. Okay?
Yeah.
We need you. I appreciate you. Well, Sherrita, I want to tell you thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. And after I log off, you make sure you stay on, okay? Because we got some catching up to do, just a little bit. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Remember to get Sherrita's books from her website. Remember to leave a review. Remember to share the information. We appreciate you so much. And we will catch you all next time. I'm J.D.Wright with Dana Clark Colors.